Good day, my valued students. How are we doing today? It's 2014, and again, once again, Happy New Year. Carpe Diem 2014. In today's exercise, today's lesson here, I'm going to share with you some really cool techniques of how to use Fireworks to do our mock-up. But here's the cool thing. We're then going to take the CSS from Fireworks and basically put that right into our Dreamweaver, including drop shadows and rounded corners and gradients and all the cool stuff, including WebKit and cross-browser capability. So this is a must-have skill. If you're serious about building websites, which I know you are because that's why you're here, and you're serious about learning the right way, because that's why you're here, then watch, sit back, and relax. Now, let's get a couple of business things out of the way. If in fact you want to sign up for my all-access course, you can do that. I have a coupon at the bottom. On Udemy, the full course with full upgrades and all the bells and whistles it comes with, normally $99, 60% off, $39. Okay, now, great deal. Again, for those of you that think you're going to learn this stuff for free, you can't. You want me to work for you, I will bust my butt to give you the absolute greatest training available. But just like I don't expect you to work for free, hey, volunteer work, great. I do a lot of volunteer work, but I don't work for free. At the same time, I'm not going to charge outrageous prices. Whatever I do charge is going to come back to you because you're going to make money with it. So you get my master course for $39. Now, if you happen to sign up for my all-access bundle price, this deal with Udemy expired yesterday, so that's no longer valid. But this course is valid. So you can get my all-access pass, which basically is going to give you all my current courses and all my future courses for life. No more fees, no more anything, for $479. Now, for those of you that think that's a lot of money, I was at the dinner last night with some friends, and my friend's daughter, I can't even believe I'm about to say this, but she signed up for courses on some online, so I wouldn't even mention the school, online classes for some graphics nonsense and whatever they're doing there. But hey, she got a deal. She only paid $27,500. And they'll let her make payments on it. Great. I can assure you, my course for under $1,000 is not only worth more, you'll learn more, because I get the students that go to those schools. I get people from the SVA and Parsons. Anyway, enough of that. I want to teach you some cool stuff today. So again, you can get my Fireworks course for $39. Or this deal is no longer valid. That expired. So if you missed that, you missed that. So let's get started. Let's roll up our sleeves. Let's crack our knuckles. Let's have a beverage. And also, if you're nice, you can have this course as well for $49. You can have the Dreamweaver CC course for $49, normally $199. That's 75% off. So let's have a beverage. Let's crack our knuckles. Let's get started. I think Robert needs a haircut. And let's do it. Welcome back. Okay, for those of you that don't know this, Fireworks is actually my favorite graphics tool for building web graphics for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's vector-based, which means it's scalable SVA, scalable vector graphics, similar to Adobe Illustrator. You can seamlessly open up PSD files with the layers and all the attributes directly from Fireworks, so it's a no-brainer. Fireworks is actually the best of all the worlds. It's actually Photoshop and Illustrator combined. Now, I'm not substituting Photoshop for doing high-end color correcting and that kind of stuff, or maybe integrating with After Effects. That's another issue. But for web graphics, Fireworks is definitely the tool you want to use and enjoy. It's a great tool because it was built from the ground up to be a web graphics tool. It's also a great web animation tool for animated GIFs. Now, here's the big part about Fireworks, which you should really enjoy and get to know. Fireworks' native file format is PNG, which of course stands for Portable Network Graphics, in case you're on a game show or you want to impress somebody at a bar that you meet tonight at the party. So PNG is web publishable, where Photoshop creates PSD files, which means you need to take the plane to the train to the boat to the moat. A PSD file is not web publishable. So here's the advantage. Fireworks' native file format, say that 5 times fast, is a PNG file, so it supports transparencies and it also supports layering. So if you make changes to your file with text and graphics and everything over on top of it, you can just round trip back into Dreamweaver from Fireworks and vice versa and make changes. Now, if you do that with a JPEG file, that can't be done because it's a flat file and you have to basically start from scratch. So let's get started here. We're going to make ourselves a new file, file new. And we'll just make a file that's 960 pixels wide by, I'm just going to go 720. Now what I typically do is make my document transparent, and I'm going to just save this file. Now pick a file format that works for you as far as naming conventions, Comp1, Comp2, Comp3. If you want to put the client ID number on it, I highly encourage you to do that, and of course put it in its correct folder. All right, now the true advantage, this is not a full-blown Fireworks course. This is basically more of a topic thing of how to basically build a simple comp and then build the CSS and then take that CSS and seamlessly, say that 5 times fast, put that into my Dreamweaver document. So a couple little shortcuts here. With the U key, now if at the U key, this gives me my different tools, but it doesn't give me my rounded corner rectangle, which is one of my favorite tools to use. So I'm going to select the rounded corner rectangle, and I'm just going to create a rounded corner rectangle that takes up the space maybe about right here. Now, in this particular case, I do want to have two things happening. First of all, I do want to have a gradient, and I do want to have a drop shadow. So I'm going to leave myself a little bit of room for the drop shadow. Now, the way the gradients work here are very similar to how it's done in Illustrator. Here's my fill, here's my stroke. So my fill is going to be this blue color that we just had a second ago. And the stroke is just going to be maybe a lighter blue color. I'm not going to go nuts with this. So what Fireworks is going to do is going to take the fill and the stroke. So if I come down here to gradient, it's going to make a gradient graphic. Say that 5 times fast. Now, if in fact I hit the Command key to select, and I hit the G key for gradient, I can now change the direction of my gradient. So I'm going to basically start the gradient from here. And if I hold down the Shift key, it will go right across the page. Make a change, save a change. Now, in addition to this, I'm going to hold down the Command key. Now, for those of you that have watched my Illustrator or other courses from Adobe, anytime you hold down the Command key for Macintosh or the Control key for Windows, will turn your tool no matter. So if I go back to, say, the U key, which is my object creation tool, I simply hold down the Command key to select. Pretty cool. So with that in mind, I'm going to come down here and simply make a drop shadow. Now again, the advantage of what I'm doing is I can build some really cool graphical elements for my website in a very, very visual way. I don't have to jump through hoops to get the positioning and the CSS and all that stuff. I can let both Fireworks and Dreamweaver do all the heavy lifting for me. So let me demonstrate that even further. I'm going to hit the U key again. Actually, I'm in the U key, and I'm just going to create a sidebar. Now, whether or not you want the sidebar to have a graphic or whatever, or a gradient to it, let's just go with that same gradient, except we're just going to make this considerably lighter. So I'm going to click my little color wheel here. I'm going to make this a very light color, just a smidge of color. That's a technical word, by the way. And I'm just going to make this even lighter still. In fact, I might even have that go to white. So it's just there, just a little placeholder. Now, whether or not you want to give that a drop shadow, we'll show off a little bit just because we can. Hey, it's my course. When you get your own course, you can show off all you want. Okay, so again, this is just a very visual understanding, and keep in mind this is on a transparent background. So if I change the body tag background inside my Dreamweaver document, say that 5 times fast, of course it's going to show through the transparency. Now with the U key still selected, I'm just going to create a placeholder for my other text to go. And again, I'm just sharing with you some basic concepts and ideas on how simple I can make this work. All right, now in this particular case, let's just make this a solid color. I'm just going to come down here and make this back to a solid color. And the solid color I want is not that color. So I'm going to click here and just make this a very, very, very light, almost touching the sky blue color. That's a technical word, by the way. Now I'm going to take this and just move this up. Command T for transformation, Command T Macintosh, Control T. Now notice that it's going to snap right to the bottom of that, so I can get that right on the money. Hit the U key again and go back and make myself a footer. I'm going to just put the footer right there, and I don't want to make this a gradient. I'm going to make this a solid black color. Make a change, save a change. Now to give you a little kind of tease as to how cool this program is, first of all, you can make multiple pages in the program. You can make multiple layers similar to Illustrator and Photoshop. But more importantly, you can create your own animation right in here and then export this as an animated GIF. So I can't say enough about this program. If you're not using this program for web graphics and web animation, or at least to build the process, the building process to export this into Adobe Edge Animate, you're really shooting yourself in the foot. You're really doing yourself a big disservice. If you're still using Photoshop, I don't use Photoshop for web graphics. I just don't. It's too cumbersome. It's taking the plane to the train. I love Photoshop. I teach Photoshop. I've been teaching Photoshop since 1990. 24 years. Okay, but it's not the correct tool. So what I insist that you learn is to use the correct tool for the correct job. As an example, I could use a butter knife as a screwdriver. Yes, I could do that. I'm sure many of us have done that. I could use a rock to bang in a nail. I can use the back of my head to bang in a nail too. But I want to use the correct tool for the correct job. Illustrator and Fireworks is the correct tools for web graphics, not Photoshop's. Anybody that's doing mockups in Photoshop and then slicing and dicing really doesn't understand. They're really wasting their time. They're wasting your time as well because they're teaching you that nonsense. Okay, now here's the cool part. I now want to take, this wonderful design I have here, and I'm just doing something very simplistic to share with you how sophisticated this is. I'm now going to go to my window menu because any window is under the window menu. And based on these choices, I'm going to go to CSS properties. Now pay attention, this is really cool stuff. I'm now going to select this graphic and I have a couple of choices here. Let's say that I just wanted to make a gradient color. I'm not concerned about the width and height and everything else. I can just select the gradient and then come down here and click the selected, and that's going to copy to the clipboard. Now in this particular case, pay close attention. I do want to copy all, and I want to use all these different web kits. Now keep in mind, this is 2014 January. Even though HTML5 and CSS3 have been out there for a number of years, it's still not officially the industry standard. In fact, according to the Web Consortium, which makes my head fall off my shoulders, this is not going to be the industry standard until somewhere around 2017 or 2022. Yeah, really, I said that. It's insane. I mean, you can get people to Jersey and back quicker. Okay, so I'm going to select all, and that's going to copy all the attributes that made this. So watch this. This is really how cool this is. Make a change, save a change. So now when I go into my Dreamweaver document, drum roll please. Now, important step, I'm in Dreamweaver CC, Creative Cloud. Now, for those of you boys and girls, gals and guys, people from New Jersey, that are going, oh, I'm still on CS5 or CS, why are you wasting time in old software? You can always make more money, but you can't make more time. Do yourself a favor. Get out your checkbook, write a check to Adobe or credit card payment for 29 bucks a month. In fact, a little secret here, I'll probably get into trouble for saying this, but you can sign up for the educational version on the Adobe website, and I'm going to say this really fast. They don't check. I'm going to say this really fast. They don't check. I'm going to say this again really fast. They don't check. Just put a university or college in your neighborhood, and they don't check. Well, again, I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying that. So I found that out from some of my students because they basically signed up and it was no issue. The worst case scenario, you're going to pay 50 bucks a month. Now, for those of you that are saying, oh, that's a lot of money, 50 bucks a month. Well, guess what? If you're serious about doing this, invest into your tool set. You're not paying the 50 bucks. I assume you're doing this to basically create websites. And I would like to think you're going to basically charge a lot more than 50 bucks for your website, right? So that's the cost of doing business. Now, if you're not interested in making money, then why are you here? Okay, now let's get started. So in CC, you have the HTML5 structure. Now you can do this in CS5 and CS5.5, but you can't visually make your HTML5 container tags with point and click. You actually either have to write the code or you have to do a Command T, whole nother scenario. So that's the advantage of using CC. So definitely upgrade. If the worst case scenario, you get the free version from adobe.com for 30 days. Learn the program, go out and build some websites, charge the client, have them pay for the software. All right, so we're going to basically put in a header. Now, keep in mind, this is not a full-blown Dreamweaver course. My Dreamweaver course, I would build the CSS totally one step at a time and then put it in a wrapper tag and all that stuff. But I'm just sharing with you how simple it is to do this from a comp aspect from Fireworks. So we're going to click header, and we're going to ID the header and call it branding. So for those of you that have not seen this, this is so incredibly cool. When I saw that this could be done, I was like, you have to be me. Beep. Okay. So now the way that CSS works in Creative Cloud is very visually different. It writes the same code as CS5, CS5.5, CS6, but it's visually very, very different. And here's the difference. You have to first click here and then define where you want to put the code. We're going to define it inside this page. Then we're going to click the plus symbol, and we're going to select the tag, select the source, and hit the plus symbol. So we're going to create source, we're going to create a tag selector, CSS rule for branding. Make a change, save a change, and there you go. There is my branding tag, which is my header document. Now, how do we apply the CSS that we just copied from Fireworks? Well, drum roll please. Either control click or right click Windows, control click Macintosh, go right to your code, put your cursor here, hit the return key, and voila. That's a technical word, by the way, voila, paste. And there you go. And there's your rounded corners and gradients. Now, for some of you who say, what is there something wrong with my video? I don't see any rounded corners and gradients. Well, it's there. Take my word, it's there. So moving forward, no, of course it's there, but you can't see that inside of Dreamweaver unless you either A, render to a browser. You don't have to be connected to the internet, by the way. Either rendering it to a browser is one way to see this. The second way is to go to Live View, and there you go. So now if I go to File, Preview in Browser, Firefox, there is my hip, cool Dreamweaver file that I built totally from CSS that I copied and pasted from my visual inside of Fireworks. Now watch this. To demonstrate that it basically did exactly the same thing pixel perfect, I'm going to go to the File menu. I'm back in Fireworks, by the way. I'm going to go to Preview in Browser and Firefox. So here's my Firefox document. Here is my Dreamweaver document. Now only pay attention to this up here, obviously, because we haven't built this yet. This is Fireworks comp, and this is my Dreamweaver comp with pure CSS. Now, do yourself a favor. Don't be lazy and build graphics when you're supposed to be building CSS, because CSS loads a lot faster, especially on mobile devices, and that's the name of that tune. You want to take this one step at a time. Now, the other advantage, let's go back into Fireworks for a second. The other advantage of using Fireworks as a mock-up, as a web tool, as far as creating your graphics, first of all, again, it's vector, so it's scalable. But I can actually take this, if you just want to do a quick little, the objective here is to get paid from your client. Your objective should be to separate your client from their money. That's your goal here. So you want them to give you a deposit. Well, you need to show them something first. So rather than go into Dreamweaver and create all your code and your tags and your HTML and your CSS, you can just visually just do your little mock-up inside of Fireworks, then go to File, Preview in Browser, and then send them the URL to that. Now, obviously, you would have to be connected to a server and upload that. That's one way of doing that. Another way of doing it is this. Here's the second way. Under the File menu, Export, and based on these choices, what we will do here, just so the file name is not the same, first of all, I want to export both the HTML and the images. I want to put the images inside the images folder. Now, this is my own personal preference. What I would typically do is I create a folder called IMGS. Hey, I'm a conservative guy. I like to save letters here. So I'm going to put the images inside the images folder, but I'm going to put the HTML inside the root folder, which is this folder right here. So again, I'm exporting HTML plus images in export. Now keep in mind what that did for me when I go back into Dreamweaver. So back inside of Dreamweaver, it didn't create any kind of CSS, but now I can take this, upload the graphics and the files, and bring this and basically show the client. So I can now take this and publish this to the, oh, did I not do the, I meant to be inside of here, I guess. I think I saved it here by mistake. Yes, I did. So you can just publish this. See, the objective here is you want the client to okay the colors, the size, the text, maybe there was typos, etc., etc. Now here's the really cool part. You now send this to the client for okay, for colors, and you realize you misspelled something. In fact, there's nothing on this page, but you're supposed to put the name of the site up here and you forgot to do that. Well, here's a very simple fix. I now select this, I click the Fireworks icon, I then need to navigate my way to where that PNG file was kept, which is right here. So there's the PNG file, right? No, that's not the PNG file. The PNG file is here. Okay, and then I can do whatever I want here. So I can say, okay, now I want to put the name of the site, so I can put the name of the site, yada, 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 yada. And when I'm done, what do I typically do when I'm done? Well, the last time I checked, When you're done, you hit the word done. There you go, boom, and it round trips right back into Dreamweaver, and go ahead and upload that file back up. Now keep in mind, this is just a working mock-up. It's not even a prototype. It hasn't been sectored out into different divs and different HTML tags. But if you're looking for a quick way to get paid right away, because if the thing is, hey, design comp's up there, are you okay that I get a 50% deposit or 50% to start work, or whatever you want to do to run your business. So let's go back into Fireworks and share with you some other CSS cool things. So the whole objective here is that you can visually create things. So let's say that this was supposed to be, let's just put it in mysite.com. And let's say that this is supposed to be a certain typeface. And now keep in mind, this doesn't do H1, H2 tags, it's done in pixels, and then you would have to then assign that to an H1 tag, etc., inside of your Dreamweaver document, which I will demonstrate. So let's say as an example that you're going to make this white, because we're going to give this a really hip, cool drop shadow. So let's go ahead and do that. And it's really that simple. Make a change, save a change. So now I want to take that information, and I'm going to copy all the information. Again, it's going to copy your WebKit browser, so it'll work cross-platform. It'll work with your major nemesis, Internet Explorer. So I'm going to copy that, go back into my Dreamweaver document. So back inside my Dreamweaver document, I then need to define this as an HTML1 tag, as an H1 tag. So I hit Command 1. Now, of course, I'd want to probably, let's go out of live view here for a second. Command 1. So I'd probably, call that whatever I call it in my comp, mysite.com. If you want to be totally lazy, you can copy the body copy there as well. This is an H1 tag. So now I need to create a rule for that. So again, the way that it works in Dreamweaver CC is you select the tag, select the source, and hit the plus symbol. Now, whether or not you want to do the H1 tag specifically for branding is totally up to you, but in this particular case, that's exactly what I want to do. So I hold down the Control key, right-click Windows, Control key Macintosh, go to Code, put my cursor right here, hit the Return key, and zip-o-zang. Oh, actually, I copied and pasted my site, didn't I? My mistake on that. Okay, let's correct this. Okay, so somehow I copied this. That's not what I meant to copy. I meant to copy this over here. So if you come over here, now you can copy again just the individual properties, or you can copy the whole thing. And of course you do that by either selecting all or by clicking here. So that's going to copy that to the clipboard. So now, drum roll please. So now when I go back into Dreamweaver, I put my cursor right there and I paste. And just like that, now, of course, you can't see a polar bear in the snowstorm. I can't see white on white. However, if I go to my live view, there you go. Now, if you're wondering why it changed the position in relevance to the Fireworks document. So if you don't care about the X and Y positioning, then you went and change it. Now, again, in closing here, here's the really cool thing of why you want Dreamweaver CC. Because now you can visually make all your changes to your document from right over here. Now keep in mind you can't see that. However, if you go to View and you go to, just lost my train of thought here. I go to View, I go to Style Rendering, and I turn my Style Rendering off. I can actually see my content, my text. So if you can't see that, now another workaround that, which is if your Style Rendering is turned off, then you can't see your CSS rules. So let's go back to your Style Rendering and turn that back on for a second. Let me show you a little workaround, because I can't see that text. However, I'm just going to Command J right now and just give my background color. I'm just going to give it some kind of color that's going to contrast with any color that will contrast with white. So now I can actually see the text. Before you can, and this is just a visual, it's a little trick. So now when I select it, I can change the positioning, etc., color. I can do everything right from here that I copied and pasted from Dreamweaver. Kids, these are the skills that are going to make you money. My production techniques. Sometimes I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go, what if I can do this? I'm constantly pushing the envelope on what a software tool will do for you. And that's part of the reason you're paying me the big bucks. The big $49, $39, $49 to $59 to take my courses. I highly suggest that not only do you sign up for my all-access course, anyway, I do suggest you sign up for All Access course because that's the most cost-effective way. So for less than $1,000, which is basically less than $500, you get all my courses for life. If you don't think that's worth it, then quite frankly, why are you here? Why, if you think you're going to go out there and get all this stuff for free, let me know how that's working out for you. Okay? You can't learn what I'm teaching for free. You just can't, especially if you want to be a professional. Respect me for what I do. Support me so I can support you. My name is Robert Farrell. Thank you very much for being here. Do yourself a favor. Click the links down at the bottom. Get out your credit card. Don't be cheap. Yes, I said that. Yeah, don't be cheap. Invest into your future. Invest into me. Talk to you soon. Thank you very much for being here. Carpe diem.